is my cousin, my little cousin. I'm an older cousin, and she has a long profile, but I'll just take it down, condense it to just say she's a beautiful young woman inside out. She is a woman of God. She is a teacher. She is trying to write her first book because she is a grassroots educator. Marcia Angela Davis was born in Clarendon. Her mother's name is Rona Henry. She lived in the West. She's from Clarendon. She was living in Kingston, Jamaica. She went to United Kingdom and Europe. She lived there. She has a daughter, one daughter, Paris. She migrated in her, I think, her 20s. Marcia is a well-rounded educator. She has a doctorate in education, and her profile is so long. Doesn't have time to read it through. She has her BBA or Master in Education. She is but most of all, she is a wonderful woman of God. So right now, I present to you, my dear cousin, this segment, Marcia Davis.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And let me tell you, all this time I've been listening and my nerves are, believe it or not, I've been teaching for about 25 years or more. And I'm still nervous, but I know it's good nerves because I know I am with good people and people who are supporting me in prayers. And I pray myself that whatever I say will be said in God's honor, because I'm thinking, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, dear Lord. And I want to say thank you to Lisa Ann for inviting me to this amazing presentation. And I hope that I can live up and walk in the shoes of those people who just went ahead of me. And today, again, I will tell everyone that as you are praying for me, I will say what I'm saying from my heart and deep down. And I'm not even thinking about naysayers and who's going to judge me and who is going to say whatever. But I put everything in God's hands. Today, I'm going to talk to you about masks that we wear. Of course, this is coming at a time when we are supposed to be wearing masks to protect ourselves from illnesses and from the coronavirus. And who would have thought that we'll be wearing masks? But sometimes we wear masks that are so hidden that we don't even understand that we're wearing the mask. So, what is a mask, I might ask you? Of course, your answer to me would be a covering for the face. Why do we wear masks? I also would ask. To hide our flaws, to change our identity, to hide our identity as well. And sometimes we wear masks in different places. Maybe as I wear masks sometimes in my school, at church, I might wear masks to look different in my students' eyes or my colleagues' eyes, or at sporting activities where we can blend in, or I can blend in to fit like a chameleon. We secure our masks because we want to blend in our surrounding. We also wear masks to hide our identity or to hide our flaws. We don't want people to see that the real us or the real me. The mask hides who I really am. And I'm sure I'm not just speaking for myself, I'm speaking for some of us who are hearing the sound of my voice. Some of the masks that I've worn, and I'm going to speak for me because maybe we're all perfect or near perfect, where we don't even wear masks like I do. So let me speak for myself and say, I am wearing a mask sometimes to blame myself. I feel like I'm in the way. I feel like no one trusts me. No one believes in me. So
Oh
I'm
God.
hiding myself in a corner to say, look, I am not that person. If I told, I would be ridiculed. If I told my story, somebody might say, who she thinks she is, who she thinks she better than anybody, and they don't know what I am going through. So let me talk about me, just not anybody. Maybe you can identify while you're hiding and saying, I never wear a mask, but let me talk about me again. I would feel less than a person because I don't feel like I'm cute enough. Or Rosemary mentioned that I'm not beautiful enough. And some of us, even though we're we don't even realize how beautiful we are because others are trampling us. And we learn to suppress and hide our feelings because others think that we are not beautiful or we are not cute or we're not whatever. Now, sometimes we also hide our mask or wear mask or hide our identity because we say, you know what, I come from a little country part where we never even have bathroom, we never even have, we have pit toilet, and some people really don't even understand, and they will be showing off and say, oh, I live in a 5-bedroom apartment with 3 bathroom or whatever inside. But that's not where I came from. I came from the grassroots of Clarendon, where I did live in a 1-bedroom with my grandfather and grandmother, and sometimes my mom would visit or my cousins would visit, and we are embarrassed. I was embarrassed to share that with my community or share it with my high school friends because I went to school in Kingston where a lot of the people there were um highfalutin, like I would say, wow, their parents were dropping them to school and I had to take the little Jolly Joseph bus. But I was embarrassed because I didn't understand that God made me fearfully and wonderfully, and I was special in my own rights. And then you know what, I also blame myself for not having that perfect family, a mom, a dad, where, oh, they were married, but I live with my aunt. And we weren't married, they weren't married, I should say. And that kind of nucleus, and I had my friends who had mother, father, and you know the perfect family, that I would say. And they were going to church in their little fancy cars, and I was taking the bus again. Uh, and and it grew up in me where I, at this stage now, I am married, and then I still wanted to say, man, I still come from this far place. So I'm hiding my identity. I don't want anybody to say who I really am. And my parents, my aunt was so strict and so mean and so miserable. So I was hiding it. I didn't show any emotions. I was just always smiling and say, oh, everything nice, everything cool. And eventually I moved out of my aunt's house, still wearing the mask, and I didn't want to remove it. And you know what? At one point, I'm going to share this story that it almost like pushed me back into wearing 50,000 other masks. I was, after I moved out from my aunt's house, I went to live by myself in a little back room where, it's kind of like the helpers' quarters, but the landlord was renting it. And I was a teacher, at the time, well, I'm still a teacher now, but at the time I had two different jobs. I was a teacher in the morning at a high school, then a teacher at Exed Community College for the adult learners. And I was switching jobs because those two jobs wasn't paying my rent, and it wasn't enough. So I was going to work in the corporate world at an insurance industry. But I was still holding on to my job in the afternoon to teach adult learners. And I was home grading papers by myself. I remember vividly, it was Easter weekend. And I was going to start it was Monday, Easter Monday. I was going to start my new job in the insurance industry the Tuesday after Easter Monday. So I was home trying to get all my papers graded and everything, and just to be ready for my new job. And the whole day I felt well accomplished. I was finished and I was like, yes, I'm gearing towards this new job, and I can't wait to start my new journey. And went to bed pretty early because I wanted to get up so I was ready and fresh for my work. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard like a jump. But I thought it was a dream. And I was on my left side, I remember, and I turned on my back and laid down to like hear what was going on. And I could see a silhouette of someone standing there. So I kind of wiped my eyes and lift up my body from my back where I was laying. And yes, it was no dream. There was a man coming towards me. And when he realized that I saw him, he ran over, and there was a knife to my neck. And I said to myself, dear God, all this time I'm shaking and saying, what in the world is this? This man just said, you better shut up your mouth. I'm living in Kingston, and just really, really nervous. The man looked over, realized that there was a telephone on the bed, my nightstand, and he cut the coil because it was one of those rotary telephones. Cut the coil, and so this meant I couldn't make any call. Who was moving anywhere? He had a knife to my neck. If I moved forward, my neck would have been sliced. But I'm sitting there, or well, I'm laying there, just wondering, God, what is this? What are you bringing me to? What is happening? And before I knew it, the man was on top of me, and I can't go into the details of the because as it is, it's been over 20 years, and I still remember it vividly, like it happened yesterday or this morning. And I am like crying out in my spirit. And I said to him, God doesn't like when you do these things. You are a beautiful person. No, I don't know this man from whatever, but I'm telling him that he's a good person and God doesn't like what he's doing. And I don't even know where I got the voice from, but the knife is still there, and I'm saying it like gutturally, like it's coming in my throat, because the voice wasn't coming out. It wasn't coming out like I normally speak. But anyway, he just kept on saying, you better shut up your mouth, and pushing the knife closer to me. And I mean, he did whatever he had to do, and you can imagine, you have an imagination. You can think of what he did, like violated my whole being. Let me tell you, I thought I was losing my mind. I felt dirty. I felt like just nasty. And whenever he was finished, he took up, I had some earrings just laying on the dresser, and he picked them up and just left. There was a big boom box there that my brother had left to keep me company and whatever, say I must listen to music. And he didn't take that. He took more than that, if you can imagine. He took my whole being. Because at the time I was 23, no, not even 22, not even, well, thereabout, but still young and nice and, as them say, fresh in Jamaica. And he just left, opened the door, left. And I stayed there and I cried. And I can't even cry loud because I'm thinking this man is gonna come back and kill me. And because he opened the door and just let himself out. And I was like he is some man of yard or something. And I stayed there, I laid there just bawling, like to myself and saying, God, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? What did I do to deserve this? And when it was like about 4 o'clock by this and 4 a.m. by this. And at 6 o'clock, I got up, rushed to the bathroom. It was then that I realized that this man had entered my bathroom and later on, I realized that when the police and everyone came, that he was digging on the door, not the door, the window, all this time. Like he knew when I wasn't there and knew what was going on and knew that time I was there all day by myself, and he could just, this was the time that he knew that he could come in. Let me tell you, I washed myself. The clothes that was torn, that was cut off my body, I threw it in the garbage. I was so angry. I was so mad. I was so dirty. I felt unclean, like nobody in the world wanted me. And I stood in the bathroom just under the shower, just having the water just running, like I was washing away the day, washing away the night, washing away the uncleanness that I felt. But in my heart, I was going to work because this was what was planned. So I got dressed and I went to my landlord, who had no clue what was going on in the back. And I went to him and I told him, I said, can I use the phone? Because I wanted to call my friend. At the time I was dating this guy, and I felt like he was the first one I needed to call. And I called him and he was like, what's the matter? Why are you calling me so early? Like, like crazy. So I told him, he's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And so he came down to the house and said he would take me to work. So I said, all right. So by this time I'm dressed, ready, like beautiful inside. Nobody's knowing what is going on. I'm makeup, ready for work because I'm charging like nothing. But inside I'm dying because I'm covering up my hurt, my pain, my disgust, my everything you can think of that's negative. So fast forward, I walked up to the HR and she said, hi, Marcia, how are you? And I'm fine, this beautiful, the most annoying, just as like nothing happened. She said, how are you? So I said, I'm great. And I kept saying, I'm great, I'm great, I'm just great. And let me tell you, the lady looked at me and she said, you're great. No, you're not. Have a seat. What's wrong with you? Like, obviously she was seeing something that I wasn't, that she saw that I wasn't great. And she said, what happened? I said, nothing, I'm here. I'm here. And I'm just going on and on. And she said, oh, what happened? And I said, and I eventually told her, and she said, how did you get here? So I said, I got a ride. She said, she called downstairs and she said, look, because I told her what kind of car he drove and whatever. And the guard stopped the guy and said, wait for me because I can't work. And she said, you are not starting work. You need time to heal. You need time to go back, go to the police, because I hadn't gone to the police. I was just in my, everything is okay, everything. So I went downstairs, explained to the guy that my friend, that I needed to go to the hospital, to the police, made the report and whatever. So then after the police took me back to the house and took a statement. And in the statement, I vividly remember this man saying, it's somebody you knew who you had a bad relationship and came back. And I'm thinking, what on earth is this? I don't even know this man. He had a bandana tied around his face. If I were to take him out in a, like, look at him and identify him, I had no clue who this man was. Nothing. I mean, I couldn't recognize his face. He was wearing a baseball hat and the bandana. All I knew, he was light skinned. And for this man now to be accusing me that I knew him and I gave him key and access and whatever, even though he was looking at the evidence where the man was digging off the, or whoever, I don't know if he had company who was digging off the burglar bars off the window because they were on the outside at the time. And he kept going and just making me feel worse. And I'm thinking, I will never share this with anyone because they're going to think it's my fault. So by this time, I'm blaming myself. Like, even though I knew in my heart of heart that I didn't know this person. So now I am wearing more mask. I had to go live with somebody, one of my friends, and at nights I couldn't sleep. I was screaming, just not myself. I had to go to my pastor for counseling because I thought I was losing my mind. I was scared of every light-skinned person. No offense if you're light-skinned on the line or listening to me. I was scared of anyone whose skin was lighter than mine because I was traumatized. And so I kept wearing the mask and not believing. I never, never, never wanted to share. So me saying this now, trust me, I'm telling you that we wear these masks and pretend that we are all nice and we're giving this beautiful smile, and nobody would know because I would not tell anyone because I'm fearful of the naysayers, fearful of the people who are blaming me that it's my fault, it's because of how you dress, if it's because of, it's not, but that's what I'm telling you. I am using this platform to, as it were, freeing my mind, freeing myself, and freeing you too, that you can free yourself by sharing your story and praying about it and realizing that God is able to take you out of your situations, whatever the fear is. And you can also decide to take off some of the masks that you wear, the mask of unforgiveness. Let me tell you, when I got married, I could not see myself like being intimate. Because all I was thinking of was that night when this person came in and took over my being. And it took a while. My then husband, who I'm no longer with. And as you know what, let me back up. The guy who I was seeing at the time, we ended up not being together because I think he saw me as an unclean person. We weren't intimate, but he saw me as unclean. Like, now I was like used goods, so to speak. We broke up, then we came back together, but that was always in the way. And then I think when I got married on my honeymoon, I eventually told my husband about it, or then husband, but I think somehow that barrier of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not, well, to put it lightly, I'm not good enough. And not realizing that eventually when I got divorced, I couldn't figure out what was the matter. I kept blaming myself. Oh, I don't want to tell anyone because they're going to see me as different. I'm not cute enough. I'm not slim enough. Like Rosemary was saying, we don't love ourselves. And I'm encouraging you to love yourself, because nothing is wrong with you. The shame, the embarrassment of, oh, God, he's removing that mask. Are you wearing a mask? Remove your mask with me. That's what I'm going to ask you to do. Remove the mask with me. Be you. Because I know that with this presentation, and I thank Lisa, she had no idea what I was going to talk about. She knew the topic, but I'm sure she didn't know the details because I didn't tell her. But I am glad that I'm using this platform to free myself, and I want you to free yourself. Let's take off our mask and be real. Whatever you are going through, who are you? Ask yourself, who are you? Who has God created you to be? Are you that phenomenal person that God created you to be? Will you decide to take off your mask with me? Facts about masks that we wear. Our lives are a constant struggle. Even though, and very often, we refuse to accept it, we live a life of pretense. How many of us, we probably don't even realize that we are pretending? Because I was pretending everything was okay. Nobody knew. I go to school daily. They look at me. People might look at me and say, oh, she's a show off, she's a whatever. Because one thing I do know, my mom, years ago when I was getting a divorce, she said to me, wear the best clothes that you know, no matter what it is. If it's the one dress that you have, wear that one dress and make it accentuate you. Look beautiful on the outside. She said to me also, you are a beautiful person. She affirmed me and made sure I knew that I was beautiful and I should make myself beautiful, because I'm beautiful inside as well as outside, and I should make myself beautiful. And as I struggle daily with those masks, I realize that none is close to who I am or who you are. None is close to who we were created to be. Masks are unresolved issues that fester. And believe me, mine festered and festered over and over. We pretend all is well. I was pretending all is well. And remember, I'm speaking from me, because maybe you are not as broken and a pretender as I was and I can be. But I am making this decision that I am no longer going to be a pretender. I have to admit that I am not perfect. I won't be. I have to admit that sin is ugly, and it will want us to remain in the mask and hide ourselves and our shame and our guilt and our lies and our pretense. We don't have all the answers. Trust God and lean on His word. We are unfinished business and we are work in progress. And as we admit and we welcome the presence of God, repenting and begging forgiveness, humbling myself that He's with me, I keep praying and asking for that freedom. And I'm hungering and thirsting as I seek Him daily. 5 years ago, I could not say that I was so hungry for God like I am now, because I realized that I am not perfect, but I'm a work in progress, and I'm going to work, and I'm going to continue to minister to God as He ministers to me, and thank Him for who I am, and look into myself and say, you know what? I'm going to start with positive affirmation. Positive affirmation. That's my thing. Every day, even as I teach my students, I teach at high school, not high school, elementary school and college. And every day I tell my students, come with a positive affirmation. They get tired of me saying it. After a while, they get used to it, and they say, they know that I'm coming with it. Come with a positive affirmation. I tell those who drive, put it on your dashboard. I am amazing. I am awesome. I am strong. Use one a day like your vitamins, and use it to affirm yourself. Find a confidant who you are able to share with. You are able to say, surround yourself with those people who are good for you, who will affirm you too, and who will tell you that you are awesome, you are great. Journalize your feelings and write it down and tell yourself, listen, today I had a bad day, but I know that I am great. Speak about your mask like I am speaking about my mask, that mask that I was hiding, pretending that all is well, that, oh, I was divorced because I wasn't cute enough, or I wasn't slim enough, or I wasn't amazing enough, I wasn't a good cook like I know I am. Speak about it and share, because it brings about healing, and you never know who you are helping. I don't know who I'm helping today, who went through the same kind of experience but were hiding it like I was, and who you're so embarrassed to share. Write down your goals. Say something you want to achieve this week, next month, next year, next 5 years, whatever it is. Find out your purpose, as Cheryl talked about earlier when she spoke. Something you enjoy doing or you're passionate about. Remember that wearing a mask can seem cool, so your peers don't know that you're dying inside. But overall, be yourself. Be that person that God wants you to be. Unveiling the mask is to see ourselves as God sees us, then allowing others to see us as God sees us. This will no doubt make us ready to be what God says we want to be. What are we masking today, my friends, my whoever is hearing my sound of my voice? Because now you're a friend, because you know all my business. I told you everything about me. I'm no longer ashamed. What are you masking? Be ourselves. Be yourself. We are loved by God as we are, no matter if your nose big, if your lips ugly, whatever. If your foot big, like Rosemary said, and I always thought of that too. Love yourself for who God made you to be. Bask in your purpose. Live for who God wants you to be. Stop hiding. I'm not saying that you should go out and tell the world and put it on BBC News or whatever the news is, but love yourself. Love you, and you find that when you love you, others grow towards loving you, and those naysayers, they can take a back seat. Don't matter. God is able to take you to your other realm, wherever you want to go, if it is His will. My verse that I will leave with you is Romans 15, verse 7. And I'm going to find it and read it because I didn't write it down. and I didn't memorize it. Yes, don't judge me. I was so nervous about coming that I did not memorize it. I knew I could read it. And it says, accept one another, then, just as Christ accepted you in order to bring praise to him. Again, accept one another, accept yourself, then, just as Christ accepted you in order to bring praise to God. And that's my story. That's my message. Whatever you want to take it as, the story, the message, the talk about me and say she pretend, but I don't care. It's who God wants me to be. And I shared this song with Lisa Ann so that she could share with us. And so listen and enjoy. God is able, my friends, God is able.